January 29th, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There's a lot of price action today. Kind of created this V structure, kind of like a big sell-off in the morning. Then right after about 2 hours of trading, it kind of did a recovery, slow move back up. The only economic data that came out was around 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here. It was the unemployment claims, but nothing really happened. And I would say today, there was a lot of these nice big legs down, and there were some entries that came up here and there, but there was a lot more almost trades, like these black arrows in parentheses, that I wish had set up better because they looked like they would have been fantastic entries, but they were just lacking in one or two critical points, so I couldn't take them. I did manage to take two trades, and they're both profitable. I'm gonna get into the trades right now. So the FOMC rate decision came out yesterday, and they weren't going to do anything essentially. So that kind of made the market just kind of pretty quiet. So then in the pre-market, prices sold off, bounced, tested, try to make a new low, pushed up on this orange up channel, moved sideways. Looks like it was two legs down, push up, and this just looks like it was just sideways consolidation at this point. And then on the open, it pushed up and it started selling off. So I'm looking for second entry shorts. And today can be characterized, as I said, as these really nice big moves, but the candles were printing side by side. And I felt like it was trending, but it was a little congested. But there was a lot more price action than it has been in the last couple of weeks. And that was really welcomed. So it pushes down on this red down channel break, made one attempt down. So it's first entry short pullback. You have a second entry short here, but unfortunately it's an inside bar. So I'm looking for a lower high. You don't get a lower high till about right here. By that time, it's already made a new low. It's too far from the move. Looked like it broke, tested, and it came back down on this orange down channel. And unfortunately, if you didn't enter on here, this is just a very nice move. If you had runners, you would have been able to trail this for pretty nice runner move. Break of this orange, test the low, made another attempt down. It's localized low and low of day. Pushes up, creates a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. The second entry short I thought was a possible trade. EMA is holding prices down. I did have this yellow down channel established, but it did evolve throughout the day to try to include and not have an overshoot here, which made it sit far from here. It never quite touched here, and I could never get it to touch here, so I had to leave it like this. So it is a second entry short here. EMA is clearly starting to move down. Break of this green. This has since moved. Kind of bumped a little bit. Break of the screen up channel. Looks like it's one attempt down, but it's also push of this red down channel pushing to the low. So I saw this, and I thought it was a second entry short until these candles printed. I really didn't know how it was going to pan out. So I felt like might have been a little bit of a more aggressive trade. But the reason I didn't take it was this break of this red has technically tested the low here. So I wasn't sure if this had played out, and now it might reverse and go back up to test the high of this green up channel. Because keep in mind, this yellow down channel that's now here, it wasn't fully trusted till much later, till about this touch. So it's a possible trade, but I didn't feel safe enough to take it in real time. So it pushes down, hits this localized low as a first entry short, pullback. You have a second entry short here. The second entry short, though, unfortunately doesn't close below the EMA, and you can tell at the end, buyers are able to push it back up. So I didn't really like that, but then it gives you this really nice lower high. And I actually thought this is one of the best setups of the day. It is a touch rejection of this yellow down channel that we have established now. The low side is at this point unconfirmed because you really only have two touches right now, but it doesn't matter because you're not looking for trades off the support. You're looking for this resistance side, which confirms really nicely because it confirmed off this second entry short, but it doesn't have a good close. And then it does touch reject here, and it's a decent signal bar. So I thought this is a possible really good trade. If you looked at it and you took it and you had a runner, your runner probably wouldn't have gotten stopped out to about here. And if you were keeping it like up here, waiting for this to play out, you could have probably gobbled up this additional move down. But from here to at least here is about 8 points. So that's a really nice runner if you would have gotten it. So there's a break of this orange down channel, continues to move. It starts moving sideways. Looks like it was one leg up, pull back, another attempt up, then pull back, and it looks like a second leg up. It creates a triple test here, but other than a triple test and a touch rejection off this yellow down channel, I don't have anything else going for it. If this signal bar, or at least this one, had been closed red, and then this one, let me zoom in, had moved one tick above this guy to show kind of like a push up and then a full clear rejection, then I think I might have made it an actual possible trade. But seeing this, I wanted another confirmation. You get a lower high here because you can see it just barely ticks above this guy, then flushes down. But by the time this closes, there's just enough room for a 1 point scalp, but I just don't like that it's already pushed this far down. So unfortunately, there was no trade there. And it pushes down and it sets up for my first trade. So I'm thinking I'm in this trading range. It breaks out the low side. I'm thinking it's a fail breakout. It creates a first entry short, pullback, creates a second entry short right here. Second entry short has an EMA rejection. I was also thinking this could be potentially a breakout pullback because break this green down channel technically needs to test the low. Going short is with the bias of the overall day. So I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be another push down. This was oscillating, and I liked the way it closed with the EMA rejection. It looked like it was two measured legs up. So I thought, okay, it's one leg up, pull back. Technically, it exceeded the measured leg. I entered right here, and I'm actually going for a 6-tick scalp because I thought there was enough push to come all the way down here. I was lucky because I actually went 7 points from my entry, so I just barely escaped. Because if I didn't, I would have gotten stopped out on this green candle here. So as you can see, I entered here, got my 6-tick scalp, moved my stop loss for my runner from above here to 1 tick below my entry, and it came back up and stopped me out. Then prices continue moving up. This is the first break of this yellow down channel, as I have drawn. Well, first decisive break. There is a small little break here, but I just considered it part of the noise. So this here is a decisive break, push back down, pushes back into this trading range. There's no clean second entries that I particularly like. You say this little localized low, it's a first entry short pullback, second entry short in real time. I'm thinking, is this a second entry short? Technically, this is your signal bar. And if this does engulf nicely, unfortunately, it doesn't close at the low. So you do have multiple tests on this high side. The thing I was worried about was there's a break here. Is it going to create a corresponding break out here? So I wanted a lower high confirmation to be doubly sure. And unfortunately, you don't get that. It comes right back up here. Now I'm thinking, oh, is this another test? But if you look at how the EMA is reacting now, it's starting to curl up and it's creating higher lows now. So I'm just a little extra cautious. Of course, you don't know this big candle is going to flush down, pushes down and punches down the low side, punches out the low side, break, test the low. There's a second entry short here. Unfortunately, there's no real way to enter this. And then this signal bar doesn't give you any indication that it's going to do that. Starts moving down this green down channel. I established this channel going down, but there's no clean second entries that you can take. Because every time it creates the first entry, it makes a new low or matches it. So nothing here. Pushes all the way down. Hits the low side of this green down channel, which fits pretty nicely. And it creates a first entry short pullback, creates a second entry short. Second entry short, first break. Oh, didn't mean to do that. First break of this green down channel, wants to test the low. Overall bias is bearish, which is great. The thing is, it closed right at the EMA, broke this orange up channel, tested the high. I wanted the lower high, and as you can see, a lower high never shows up, so there's no trade here. I suppose you could take it if you're more aggressive. Also, if this guy had just closed below the EMA or closed decisively at the low without this tiny little run up by last minute buyers, then I would have maybe considered it, but I didn't because it didn't quite do that. Pushes down, doesn't hit the low side. So now I'm extra cautious because if you notice, it went from the high side and then this low side is being confirmed really well. So I'm looking for this to come all the way down here, but when it reverses back up, now I'm extra cautious. Creates a localized low. You have a first entry short pullback, second entry short, then it gives you a lower high. I actually thought this is a possible trade because It's hard to see, but this guy engulfs this guy. But not only does it do that, it actually ticks above this guy, then flushes down and closes at the low. So I thought there's enough momentum for a quick 1 point scalp. This is a possible trade. If you did enter, well, if I did enter, I'd be sitting here taking heat right now, but I do like that it's closing below the EMA, and then this candle would have given me my 6-tick scalp. I was going for 6 ticks today because it looked like the character of the trade, because I thought I was going to get 6 ticks here, and I did. I just didn't know I was going to reverse this strongly back up. So I was that kind of set up for my second trade, which I also went for 6 ticks today. So it pushes, it gets noisy, it moves down what I think is this red down channel. Break, first entry short pullback, second entry short, it's a bad signal bar. So this also looks like a visual first entry. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but now it's too far. I've since deleted. I was thinking, is there possible some kind of resistance here? But it never really pans out to be anything. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Break of the green up channel, test once, pullback, makes a second attempt. Also localized low. First entry short pullback, second entry short. It's a bad signal bar. You're not thinking of going short here. I have this blue. Range doesn't exist yet. You have a localized high, first entry long pullback. You technically have a second entry long potential triple test, but it's a bad signal bar. So I'm just waiting for a higher low. You don't get a higher low. So it pushes up, moves up this orange up channel, break, comes back down. Now you have a triple test. This triple test made me extra cautious because this candle is actually inside to this one. So although it came all the way down, it opened, it could never fully break below this guy, which is a good sign, but it reversed back up. It couldn't break out of the range of this bar. So I'm just extra cautious, looking again for a higher low. Pushes to the high side. In real time, you see this potential 1 attempt, maybe 2 attempts right here. Third, fourth attempt. So this is either multiple test or triple test, but the signal bar doesn't look right. Also, all day we've been selling off. I'm not so sure after I saw this big leg up and sideways that it's going to sell off necessarily. I'm thinking it's one big leg, consolidation, and then another big leg up. So that was what I was thinking in real time. So I wasn't too eager to try to take a sketchy short entry right here. Localized, localized high. Technically a first entry long, but it looks more like a visual first entry, pullback second entry, but this is also inside bar. This is all, these three candles are inside to this guy. So that's just making me extra cautious because that's just a immediate indication that this is in congestion. There's just a tug of war happening now. So unless you look at a smaller time frame, a smaller tick chart, there's nothing I can quite feel confident about on this 2000 tick chart. So it pushes up, starts moving sideways. Keep in mind, this gray up channel doesn't exist yet. I kind of drew it in later when I saw all these touches on the high side. I actually established the high side first, then touch the low side. So I can't really use this as a key entry point, but I did see this as a possible range. So it looks like it's moving, migrating out of this blue range. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long, kind of makes a double top. Then it looks like it kind of pushes down, makes a second entry, but it's not the cleanest. I did see a triple test here, and I actually thought it's a possible trade here, because if you actually do the count, it looks like a localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. If you restart the count, it's a little odd, but you could have a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I also saw it as a localized low, first entry short, second entry short failure. So it has kind of several key entry points going for it. It's triple test, second entry long on the micro count, failed second entry short, decent signal bar engulfing. This isn't a key entry point yet because it doesn't exist. So I thought there's a possible trade. Then prices move up, pushes up. You have this consolidation here, just sideways, just noisy. I'm not going to jump in on anything right there. It moves up. When it bounces here, that's when I established this orange up channel. So it looks like it fits pretty well. Unfortunately, there's no second entries I feel confident in right now. Then it starts moving sideways. The sideways break of this orange up channel looks like there's 1 attempt up, pullback, potentially a second attempt. But in here, there's no real safe second entry longs or shorts that I felt comfortable with. If you did try to play range rules, it feels early to take it off of this candle because you could argue maybe there's a triple test, but I see it more as a realistic double test. So you need a triple test over here, but it never shows up. So not a trade I think you could take, even though it's a bounce off the EMA. It'd be really aggressive. Then when the candles do form and it creates this pretty much sideways consolidation because these candles are the same size and they're just sitting right next to each other. This is just telling me Again, there's a tug of war happening. You can tell the overall bias is bullish, but actually, I don't think I've drawn this, but oh yeah, pretty much like a measured move was completed and it's just kind of in the middle of that measured move. But anyways, I saw this and I thought it was congestion. Didn't really feel comfortable trying to look for a trade here or trying to make something happen. Breaks, you have a potential fail breakout, pushes down, break to this red, test the low, and it keeps going. So then I abandoned this red down channel, established this orange down channel. It's a localized low. The bottom side fits pretty well. You have a first entry short pullback. I thought this is actual possible trade, a second entry short. The first break of this excuse me, orange down channel, which needs to test the low. It's a really good signal bar. It doesn't quite touch the EMA though, but it is kind of far enough that you think maybe there's a possible push down. And it looked like there was two tiny legs up. So possible trade here. Then it gives you a lower high here, but I didn't like this lower high because I actually wanted it to touch the EMA. So I called it an almost trade because it is a first entry short, second entry short. Technically, this candle has gone down and satisfied the test of the extreme. It didn't really break below, but it was there. This red up channel doesn't exist until later in the day, but I couldn't use this as a key entry point to justify saying, well, there is a possible bounce here that was going to happen because this didn't exist. Even this range, it only has two touch confirmations right now. So really couldn't trust that this is a valid range just yet to give another reason to take this lower high. Then it pushes up on the screen, up channel break, test the high, and it sets up for my second trade. So localized high, it's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Second entry long is kind of hidden all in this candle. So this break of the screen up channel has broken and test the high. This orange channel has come down, broken and tested low. The reason I took this trade was it opened. I was wondering how strong this EMA is because I noticed there's a potential rejection here and a hold. It never broke below here. It closed right at it. I mean, it broke below, but it closed right at the EMA. It opened, flushed down, and it was kind of oscillating. So it was toward the end of the life of this candle that when it engulfed it, I was thinking, okay, there's a possible trade here. I'm going to enter it because it looks like it's going to close at the high. It actually pushes up, comes back down, picks me up, and then closes right here. Then at next three candles, I was wondering if I made a terrible decision because I was thinking, oh, I wish this had pushed up. This blue range doesn't exist yet, so I wasn't concerned about a resistance here, but I thought there's got to be enough momentum, enough strength to push for at least a 6-tick scalp. As it was oscillating here, I highly considered maybe going out break even. But when I saw this higher low, which is another possible trade because it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, or if you do a very strict technical count, it'd be a first entry, second entry. Nevertheless, it kind of reinforced that prices are potentially going to move back up. There's a higher low here. If I didn't take this one, I think I might have jumped on this one. And the entry would have been pretty much the same because I would have entered pretty much where I did here, one tick above this guy. And it gave me a 1 point scalp. When it did on this candle, I moved my stop from one tick below here to one tick above my entry, and I got the scalp. So I noticed that if I waited longer for going for a 2 point scalp, this candle here likely would have stopped me out because my stop was right below here. So knowing that, and I thought today was more because the ATR was a lot higher, that I thought, okay, this is definitely maybe a 1.5 to 2 point scalp day. If I kept it at 1 point, I think it would have been a little bit less nerve wracking. But in this case, this trade wouldn't have mattered because I'd had to still sit through here, take this heat, and then get out there. So it pushes out. I was at this point thinking I'm in a range, creates a new low, first entry short, technically a second entry short, visual first entry, second entry, inside bar, nothing here. This is a terrible lower high. This I marked it because I thought it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Could there be a long trade here? I just didn't really like that. Even though it bounced off the EMA, orange is a little ambiguous because it broke on the high side. Is it going to go back and test the high? It's unsure. And the candles directly to the left are a little congested, especially this guy. So wasn't too thrilled about trying to take a trade here. And then the follow through candle, this guy, it never successfully broke above here. So in real time, when I see this, Even if I was being super conservative and trying to take at the high of this candle, this would never have triggered. So I would have canceled the order anyways. So it pushes, kind of breaks to the low side, starts bouncing up. This yellow up channel doesn't exist yet. It exists right about when these candles print. That's when I established the low side and the high side fit pretty well. So as the break of this orange tests the high, technically localized high, you have a first entry long, that's all you get. Then it flushes down. And it looks like it's a first entry, potential second entry, nothing here. Localized low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but it feels a little congested. But at this point, I do have this yellow up channel established. The thing I'm not too crazy about is the price action, it's losing strength. It went from the low side to the high side, touched the high side, came back to the low side. Now it's failing to make the high side, but now it's hitting the low side in quick succession. So it's telling me the buyers are losing power. Each subsequent push up is losing strength. Although you're in a bullish kind of overall bias right now, it just makes me extra cautious. So it pushes here. It gives you this multiple test because it's one attempt, two attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt. So multiple attempts, and you have a second entry short, new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. I thought this was a possible trade, but I didn't really, I didn't believe it enough to want to take this setup. It is a decent signal bar, close at the low, enough for a quick 1 point scalp. In this case, it would have given you at least two. Comes down here, and that's where I established this red channel, but I never quite believed in it because there's one touch, two touch, three touch, but I never colored it in because the high side really only has maybe two, three touches. Then it pushes, kind of moves into sideways consolidation. You have a fail breakout but no trade. Almost a touch, nice touch rejection here, but you can pretty much say that this is holding. And the prices move up. The localized high, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. This green up channel doesn't exist yet, so there's no key entry point. It doesn't even fit that nicely in this range yet because it didn't touch reject off the bottom here. The prices continue moving up. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I do have the green channel established now, but this is too late in the time of day. This is the last 10 minutes, and I don't want to try to take any trades here, especially when I was fortunate enough to get two profitable trades already. So it pushes up the high, and it kind of starts rejecting down. This is kind of the last minute of trading, which, I'm not going to try to take any trades during that last minute. So kind of how the charts look like today. It looked like a V-shaped bounce. So it's a sell-off, then a bounce. A little bit better price action than it has been for the last few days. Yesterday, I was trying to trade, but there was this issue with Tradeovate that the data was being delayed, so I wasn't able to really trade. So I just kind of called it quits super early and decided, well, I wasn't gonna even try to attempt to trade. I did watch the charts, but then by then had already committed to doing stuff offline, taking care of stuff in the house that I really didn't even bother making a video. So hopefully that was helpful.